Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Good Leader Podcast. We got a full deck today. Jess, how you feeling over there?
I'm fired up.
On a scale of 1 to 10, have you ever been more fired up in your life?
There's been maybe once or twice.
Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty good then.
Maybe
if this
an
is
11.
top 3,
Maybe 11.
if this is top 3 fired up moments for your life, your return to the pod, that's pretty impressive.
I've been missing it. It's been a minute.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much FOMO do you have when you listen to a podcast that you're not a part of?
Seriously, 11.
I was going to say, it
Yeah.
really probably eats you up.
No, because
That's good, though.
I have to post the video, and then y'all are having
that's
fun,
true.
and I'm like,
Oh,
just
man,
trying
I bet
to
Salmon Lady really killed you.
Yeah.
crying,
Yeah.
tears. Like I
That's
rewatched
good.
it 10 times.
Well, this is a good plug because if you're a loyal listener of the podcast, but you're not following us on the socials, you're missing out on the in-between context and scenes, deleted scenes. One of my favorite things about DVDs, you know, and now we don't have them anymore. We don't even have DVDs.
DVDs?
Thank you. You did that on purpose.
I did.
You know what a DVD is. You know what a DVD
What
is.
are those?
You know
Man,
who
I
Travis
can't
Kelce
get 'em
is.
today.
Don't act like you're over there not knowing what's going on. So we got a couple things. Jess, we're going to go for you for the first segment on Tell the Old Man What's Going On in the World. But before we get into that new segment we're trying out, I'm still workshopping the title.
Sure.
Why don't you tell us where we can follow us on social media so that people can see the Salmon Lady content and other great content?
You can follow Paradigm Shift at Paradigm Shift Leadership on pretty much every social media platform, including YouTube.
Paradigm Shift Leadership.
What about
Yes.
on
That's where I
X?
get there.
Are we on X?
We were once upon a time, but we're not currently, so that's a lie. Sorry, we're not on Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
Let's just call it Twix
Twix.
because I
love
like
that.
it.
Wow.
Twix are delicious, and there are 2 of them.
They
Every
should
Did you know that
rebranded
one has
themselves.
more cookie than the other? And that's
Wait a
why the
minute.
left versus the right.
Shut up.
One has more caramel.
No way.
Yes.
This is what the old man didn't know.
I didn't know this.
Have you seen the factory
Get
commercial of them
outta
going
here.
left and right?
Yes, of
with
course.
the
I know the
Twix?
campaign.
It's
Are you
because-
left or right?
It's because one has more caramel and one has more cookie.
No way.
Really?
You didn't know it either.
No, I really didn't know
I
that.
didn't know this. I
didn't
know
know
the
it either.
campaign. I love the campaign.
That's
it's a
why.
great. It's
That's
a great,
why they're different.
Wow. I did not know that. I'm going to go buy a Twix. You know what? On your
easy to
candy
sell.
bar, on
It
your
is-
candy bars, how high does Twix rank for you? Is it pretty high? It's pretty high for me.
I'll eat it out of the Halloween candy
3
bag.
out of 5.
Oh,
will
it's
say-
now it's really high on the Halloween bag. Halloween's coming up. That was a great segue, Jess. Well done. You're like a professional potter.
I was born for this.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever intentionally purchased a Twix, but I would definitely eat it if it's given me. It's
Oh,
under.
no, that is great.
I'm with
That
you.
is a great
well, that's how I feel
way
about
to
every
categorize
candy
it.
that's ever.
I'm with you on that.
No. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's just say you really want a candy bar. You go into the convenience store, and just for all intents and purposes, you're dead set. I'm really going to buy a candy bar. Which
Okay.
one would you buy? That's a good distinction.
Snickers.
Snickers?
Snickers, for
I've
sure.
bought- I
Maybe
have
a
purchased,
Snickers.
I've probably purchased more Snickers than anything else just on that. But I think that might just be out of convenience. It's like the thing that I'm never unhappy with. I don't know if it's my
To
favorite.
be honest, I'm not a chocolate. I'm going like sour gummy worms.
Okay.
So that's
well,
why it's hard. I'm like, oh, I just really
Okay,
don't buy
that's fair.
chocolate.
If we broaden it to candy.
Here's me. Ghirardelli, 90%. Snickers,
sure.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Kit Kat,
Dark chocolate?
then Twix somewhere down there.
Dark always.
Yeah.
Dark always.
Always.
Always. Dark Reese's. Have you had a dark Reese's?
Okay, are we considering Reese's a candy bar?
100%. Yes. Don't give me this.
That's
yes.
my
think
number
so.
one
It's a
choice
circle-shaped
every
candy
time.
bar.
It's like
Oh,
a,
Thank
then
you.
yeah, that'd be higher to me than a. That'd be higher
that's
to
true.
me than
That's true.
Okay, there you go. We just-
Trader
there we go.
Joe's
We figured it out.
dark chocolate peanut
Yes.
butter cups.
Oh, now you're getting too fancy.
I
Get out
love
of here
the
with that
peanut butter
junk.
cup.
Get
I
out of here.
have to buy a pack
Get outta
every
here.
time I go to Trader
So do we.
Joe's.
Yeah,
Little
so do we.
99-cent
Trader
pack.
Joe's. I don't need them.
That
I don't need 'em.
99-cent pack.
I don't need that. I don't need that fancy stuff. No way. No
Jared
way.
lives
Just
an
give it-
hour.
Give it up.
An hour away
No
from
way.
Trader Joe's.
Give it
Not
up.
until Trader Joe's
Give it
comes
up.
to Muskogee, Oklahoma, am I going to get into that. Okay? Big advocate.
Missing
Jess, besides Twix having more cookie on one side, tell me what else is going on in the world.
I mean, we could. Do we want to get into Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce because everybody else is?
Well, I got to tell you, it's so big I know about it.
Yeah,
know?
I mean, she really put him on the map.
That's what people are saying, you know? That's what people are
Yeah.
saying. But Travis Kelce was pretty well known beforehand. I did hear one thing that I totally agree with that I wish I would have said.
I couldn't say that with a straight face, by the way.
Well, Travis Kelce was doing pretty well before Taylor. But it's
In
my
whose
frustrating
eyes?
thing is it's all orchestrated. My frustration is like this is all
It is a
is.
PR stunt. I
totally
agree.
orchestrated. Which more power to them. You know what I'm saying? I got
Yeah.
no fault for that. Great, smart on both sides.
Someone's making a lot of money somewhere because of both of what because of what they're doing.
How much is the NFL paying Taylor Swift? That's the question.
Too much.
How much?
I don't know.
Well, thank too much. Thanks,
Probably too
Grandpa.
much.
Lim is officially the old man, by the way, that you're talking to. It's not
I'm
me.
an old soul.
What
We're
I
talking-
appreciate,
I was born
You
in the
thought it
wrong
was me.
generation.
It's actually Lemuel.
Yeah.
they
I'll
could
wear
have set her up with anyone, for what they're paying her. And I respect her own self-respect that she made sure it was Travis
She
Kelce.
picked the hottest
it
man in
could
the
have been
NFL.
anyone. I have a lot of respect for her that
Yes.
she went through. She did.
Well, he's the obvious choice. I mean, it's
Some
like,
people would say otherwise.
well, you can't pick someone who's married, so you take out all the married people. Patrick Mahomes, if he wasn't married, would be the obvious choice, but let's take him
But
out.
he isn't her
He walks
type.
like a duck.
Doesn't matter. You guys are crazy. Also, Patrick Mahomes, his voice is odd to me.
His
Am I the
voice
only
is
one?
odd. His walk is odd.
I can't-
Great football player, strange individual.
Yeah.
Just in terms of everything else.
Here's the thing that I heard that I really like. Travis Kelce.
Watch out. Everyone's getting roasted on the pod today.
We're
Walks
just talking
like a
about
duck.
Everything.
Sounds like a duck.
He's a
Plays
quarterback.
like a champion, though.
But he does play like a
God bless
champion.
Patrick Mahomes.
You know who talked horrible was Tim Tebow in the Swamp King.
What was wrong with him in the documentary?
And then we just won. That's what we did.
You're
And then the
You know-
lights went out.
This
just
conversation reminds me of my flight back from Miami this past weekend. The lady beside me was just,
yeah. This guy was in Miami this weekend, and y'all are over here asking me what's new.
Hold on. Before we
I
get
just
to your
can't
flight
get
in Miami,
past Tim Tebow.
hold on. Let's move on. We're not going to roast everybody today because we're actually talking about customer service. But before we keep roasting everybody, for the, I don't know, if you did a Venn diagram, the people who have seen Swamp King's documentary and are listening to this podcast, Anj was just hilarious. For the other 75,000 people, not funny at all.
I missed
I was
it.
like, what are you talking about?
I just
So-
like
If
watching
you
Orange.
if you watch Swamp Kings, I'm 100%.
Yes, we might just have to take all of this and just take, this is the deleted scene.
Let's
This
do a
entire thing is
side
deleted.
to side of Anj
It's-
and Tim Tebow.
It really is, because Tim Tebow, I think he's a good leader. Talk about good leader podcast.
He is a
I think
great
he's a good
leader. I don't know what
respect
they did to him.
But man,
they tranquilized
you're right,
him.
The whole documentary, he was just like, and it was just about that brotherhood. That brotherhood.
And I knew we had to go out there, and we just had to play. We just had to get him. Tim, stop. Just
It was different.
talk
All right.
normal.
Okay. So back to Lemuel.
It
Now,
was so painful.
Now you have a story for us. You're going to pull up to the table with an "Am I wrong?" segment. Am I
wrong?
right? Now, does this have to do with your Miami trip?
no.
or different trip?
This is separate.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for "Am I wrong"?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
So a couple weeks ago after church, we went
Do we have some "Am I wrong" music? I'm sorry.
we can add that
I
in.
gotta ask it every
yeah,
time.
we'll add that in.
Okay, Jess, I've been riffing on pretty impressive on the spot music. Just to let you know. I don't know if you've been missing that, but that's what's
You
going
did.
I've been missing it.
on. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Lynn.
So a couple Sundays ago after church, we went to Chili's. I mean, I'm not the biggest Chili's fan, but it's fine. So we went there, ate our meal.
It's the Twix
Grow
of
up.
restaurants.
Yeah, it's fine.
One, grow up.
And then we were a big party, and we had a new waitress. She was doing fine. Somebody ordered chips and salsa, and a guy brought it out, and I'm telling you, I've never seen a spill worse than this on somebody.
Oh no.
On somebody. I mean,
wow.
I've seen a spill,
No.
but not on somebody like this. It went all over my wife, all over her. She had this nice
Sunday
blazer,
dress. Sunday dress.
blazer from Zara, just some good clothes on.
Don't know what Zara is.
Not
went-
the Zara blazer.
It went down her back,
Are you serious?
over her shoulder, everywhere. Every piece of clothing
serious right
had
now?
salsa on it. So we barely heard.
Hold on.
Just about.
Hold on. You just said every piece of clothing had salsa.
That you could see.
I'm imagining like the horror movie
Carrie.
Carrie.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Like
Carrie, but with salsa.
she's like
Yeah.
in a blazer.
Okay, keep going.
It
the
even
Zara
was
blazer.
It was even on her shoes. Nice shoes. So
Oh wow.
we barely heard them say sorry. I think they might have been like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but we didn't hear it.
They
We were
T-bowed
just,
it.
we were shocked at how bad the spill was. Okay, so we had to take. She took her jacket off and was in this tank top. They had to put her jacket in a plastic bag. It was drenched in salsa. So, anyways,
Oh my
How many salsas was
Yeah,
the guy
honestly.
carrying out?
it was the whole salsa.
Was it just
I
a
guess,
picture?
I guess it was big, but it went everywhere. So
Part of me
Dripping.
thinks that you are being completely over dramatic about this story,
I was
and
not
that you are.
overdramatic.
Keep going.
I was not overdramatic.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
was-
Where are you wrong?
But the thing I was shocked about is how they handled the situation. So
Okay.
they barely apologized. They might have. We just barely heard them. And then when they brought the check out, they didn't comp anything. They didn't take any initiative to try to make it right.
Did they charge you for that salsa specifically? Still got charged for the salsa?
Someone else got charged for the salsa.
Wow.
That's pretty
so
solid.
they
That's pretty
still
low.
paid for
I
the
was
salsa.
I was shocked that they didn't try to comp anything. And we're like, I asked the waitress, I said, hey, I'm not that type of guy, but do you care if we get anything comped? We're going to have to, we don't know if this is ruined or not. And she said, I don't know. Let me go ask my manager.
Okay.
So she went and asked
Fair.
the manager, which I think she should have already talked to the manager.
Sure.
But she went and asked the manager, and the manager walked by. I guess she was going to another table. She walked by a second time. She said, are you the person who's wanting to see me? And she had no clue what was going on. I'm thinking like, they need to be
No
communicating.
communication was
Yeah.
happening whatsoever.
And I
She
kinda-
wasn't like, yeah. Hey, salsa head. Are you the
Yeah, salsa lady.
salsa lady?
Hey, you
Yeah.
salmon lady.
I see you're half clothed. Did something happen?
The naked woman with salsa all over? Yeah, that's him.
And she went and took some off the check. It was like half of the check, whatever. It wasn't that they didn't initially want to take everything off the check. It was the lack of communication, the lack of initiative. And my question is, am I wrong that customer service these days has just plummeted? It just seems like people don't know what to do. People don't know how to handle difficult situations.
Ooh, I could.
And I just, they could have handled it in such a way
You
that
need to
we
tell
would,
the Walmart story.
that we would have raved about how well they handled it. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like they could have
Right.
won us over with how they handled it, if that makes sense. So
Missed
that's my
opportunity.
story.
They had a missed opportunity.
For sure.
Anj, you got a story? Sounds like this
Oh
is
my
really
gosh.
propelling you.
I already didn't really like Walmart, just a more Target person after this story. They're lucky if I step foot in the store again. So we're in Gulf Shores and it's like, it is late. So we're on a later shift. It's probably 10 p.m. We're getting some stuff for the vacation. We have my husband and his siblings and, all of us there. We're getting great. We're checking out and I have this little one of those beach bucket toy things that we had to grab for the kids. The Walmart was filled with them, literally filled with them. We're at the self-checkout and I'm going through, about to scan it in, and there was no tag on it. And I know Walmart, and I know how this is going to go. So I send my husband back to get one with a tag. I'm like, I'm not dealing with waiting. We're going to be here for forever. Just go back and get one that has a tag on it. So he goes back there. He can't find a single one with an actual tag on it, not a single one. And I'm not going to discredit him, but he's not the most observant, best, looker. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how hard did you really look? But whatever. Okay, so we'll just ask at this point. You've already gone back there. It's fine.
She is roasting everyone today.
I am.
I love it.
Jared got me a red eye, and I guess I
That's it.
just roast everyone. So anyway, wait to hear me talk about this lady if you think I'm roasting everyone. So we're waiting now. We're waiting. This bell's going, little light, whatever. We need help, blah, blah, blah. It takes someone forever to come. We end up stopping this guy who worked there. And we had said hey, we can't get this. There's nothing we have to scan it. Can you ring this up for us? And he tells us he is doing his best. He reminds me of the waitress you just talked about. He's doing his best. But he has no idea what he's doing. You can tell. He has no idea how to get this pulled up. So he's trying to help us. This lady just straight up walks past us. She works there. So she walks past us and she just turns to me and goes, "You can't buy that." And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, "You can't buy that. Got no tag, you can't buy it." I said, I can't buy it. And she was like, "It's no tag, it's not for sale. I can't sell it to you, there's no tag." And I said, "What about the 60 on the wall over there who have no tag? Are you just not gonna sell any of those?" "I don't know what to tell you. If it's not got a tag, you can't buy it." And I said, "So it's not for sale?" And she said, "No." And I said, "So then I guess I'll just walk it out of the store then, if it's not for sale.
Freebie.
Seems like I can just take it." And then she was like, "No, it's not for sale." And I said, "Well, what's stopping me from walking out of the door? If you're not going to sell it to me, but it's sitting right in front of me." She was like, she goes, "You'll go to jail." And took it out of my hand and walked away.
Jail.
And I may have seen red. What happens after that is a little fuzzy in my mind now. It's been a little while. But I literally see red. And so, and my husband is not paying attention anymore at this point. He's just still checking stuff out. He has no idea what's happening. And so I go back there myself now because I'm like, you would have thought I would have let it be, but I didn't. So I go back where John was. I'm searching. He actually was right. I cannot find a single bucket with a tag on it. So I'm like, so you're literally going to have 2 aisles of these things that have no tags on it and not sell them. Like, you're not even going to try to solve the problem or like ask to, help figure it out. So I finally find one in the very back with a tag on it. I scan it, we check out. I march straight to the customer service little area. This is Walmart. Like, what do I think is going to happen, Andrea? Nothing.
But
Nothing's
you found
gonna
one with a
happen.
tag. You have one with a tag?
I end up finding one with a tag, and I pay for it, and my whole family has left. Like, they are not paying attention to me anymore, except my sister-in-law, who watched me walk over to customer service. I think she could tell this isn't going to end well. And so I'm waiting there, and my whole intent is I just want someone to know how horrible that person is, like how horrible, like that was the worst customer service I've ever experienced. And my real request was going to be, since those aren't for sale, can you go ahead and put up a sign that says these aren't actually for sale? Because there's at least 70 I counted that aren't being sold. So that was going to be my request.
I counted.
Can you? Yeah, at least.
She
And it was
came
very
prepared.
easy. It was very easy to count because none of them had tags on them. So it was like, wow, I estimate about 200 here, just sitting here with no
great.
tags. And that was my request. So I'm sitting there waiting. Guess who the customer service person is at the?
Get out of here. No way.
Our queen.
She's flinging.
Dun, dun,
she's
dun.
flinging the little bucket in there like this, just walking around. She sees me. She won't come to the desk to talk to me. So
this
I
is
just
great.
wait. So we're staring at each other,
This is
and
like a Seinfeld episode.
I literally just wait. I'm like, I'm never this person, but wow, something got me this night. So I'm okay. Well, not at stores.
Okay, hard to believe.
Not at stores. I'm not normally this person.
Okay. Of everything you said in the story, that's the most unbelievable so far.
I've never, you would be surprised. I've actually never complained about somebody to customer service before, but wow, this really got me. So now her manager sees that someone is waiting. So she starts walking over to me. Well, don't you know this little girl hightails it right over to me? And the manager, as she's asking me, hey, ma'am, can I help you? The girl flies in
Get out.
and
This
goes,
is great.
she wants to buy this. She wants to buy this. She can't buy it. I was like, what is happening right now?
Wow.
And so I tell the lady, I can't even remember honestly how this conversation with the manager went, but I was like, essentially saying, you have all of these. All I'm asking is that you put up a sign just saying people can't buy these, because that's what your employees are telling everyone is they can't buy them. So just, ma'am, you can buy it. You can buy it. Just honestly, the poor woman got my wrath, I will say. Because there was a lot of other context that happened here that I don't even know if we have time to really share.
Well,
but it
we
was
don't,
like a
we don't
5
have
minute.
the E. We keep the E off the pod. Okay. We keep
It
the
was
little
like
explicit title off.
It was like a 5-minute conversation with this poor manager of this girl and I basically fighting back and
Wow.
forth. And then the manager finally was like, ma'am, you can buy it. You can totally buy it. Just let me ring it up for you right here. And I was like, it's funny you say that. That's what your employee should have said 10 minutes ago. And I don't want it now. And I left it and I walked away and the girl was like, well, she's up. And like, word I, can't even say it. And the manager, I will say it because John finally clued in on him. Like, my wife's missing. She's somewhere. I should probably go find where she is. And at this point, he and my sister-in-law come back in the store because she was like, I think Andrea might need backup. Like, she's like in a full-blown fight in Walmart at 10:30 p.m. You might want to go. So they come walking out. I was so mad I didn't even stop to continue walking with them. I just left. But John said as he was walking in, she watched the manager pull the girl into the back room. So my only goal at the end of the day was justice and to really snarkily tell someone they should put a sign up that I know they're not going to put up.
I
But
like
just
that you
since those
fixated
aren't for
on the
sale.
sign. All I want you to do is put a sign up.
Yeah, you obviously need help problem solving. That's how I felt. I was like, well, we need help problem solving here. So let me give you a really easy win for your evening tonight. Just don't sell them.
All right. Well, am I wrong? Jess, what do you think? Do you think
I
we're wrong?
guess I wasn't wrong.
You were
according
not
to
wrong.
not wrong.
You were
Now,
not wrong. It still fires
The
me
way
up.
the shtick of this gimmick of this segment is supposed to be one, am I wrong? And then we vote. I think we have two, so now it's up to you and I. I don't know if we're judging Anja's behavior now. Was I wrong the way that I handled that? That'll
I
be another
still
podcast.
feel justified.
That's another
I
podcast.
still feel justified.
But I think the question that Lim is presenting is customer service. I think his statement is this: customer service is just bad these days.
That was
Am
a
I
bold
wrong?
statement.
Frontline customer
That
service.
was a bold
right?
statement
That's your
that you
statement. That's
made.
the am I wrong? Customer service is bad these days.
Frontline is a good point.
Am I wrong?
Because the manager was better.
Okay.
The manager, I could tell, was mad.
Well,
Can
go
I,
ahead.
Can I
sure,
add?
it's your segment, buddy.
I think frontline customer service is bad, and management is
Passive in training.
yes. That's a
Agreed.
good way to say
well,
it.
in the words of the Remember the Titans guy, attitude reflect leadership. Am I right?
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
you know what I mean? I don't remember
Yeah.
his name. What was his name? What's his name? Is the middle linebacker?
I know
The
exactly
middle
what you're
linebacker.
talking about.
Anyway,
but
I'll look it up.
yeah.
Anyway, all right, Jess, what do you think? Customer service is bad these days.
I really do want to. I wouldn't go as far to say as it is bad these days. I wouldn't put a blanket. I wouldn't put
Okay.
a blanket over it.
Okay,
But
all right.
I would say that I think it does have to do with generations.
Okay.
I think that generational is a big part of it. Just because I think
Yeah, my girl was young.
we were okay. This
the
is
manager
where,
was old.
I think that we've
You keep calling her girl distinctly.
Home girl.
I think we've
She
been
was a homegirl.
This little girl. Come here, little girl. Come here, that little girl right
How-
there.
when you
won't let
say
me
little
buy this.
girl, when you say little girl,
10-year-old. I'm just cussing out a 10-year-old.
That works at Walmart.
That works at
She was
Walmart.
probably like 25.
Okay. Ooh.
I mean, not that much younger than me. I'm not looking
Thanks, I
at
was gonna
Jess
say,
like
thanks,
she
Grandma.
was you.
She was less
I was gonna
than
say, thanks,
She was
Grandma.
you.
less than middle aged.
All right, but
I'm a little girl. You mean it?
generationally,
If
you
she
think
would have been
there's a
18,
difference.
I would have felt that would have made me feel better.
Right. Yeah.
She was old enough that I was like, you know better.
Either way, she's in the job. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Age is irrelevant at
Yeah.
that point. I mean, she's working the job. But okay, so I would say this is an interesting thing because there is the bias of declinism, but you guys are not all that old. So declinism is the bias where it's like the good old days, you know? And so when I hear like someone like my dad say, you know, well, customer service, he made the same statement. My initial response is like, well, Dad, was it ever really that great? Like, are you remembering things better than they were? I mean, you know, like
For example, my sister has worked in the service industry for like as long as I can remember, and she was constantly having to get on to my dad for the way that he treated like waitresses and waiters and stuff because of just the demand and like the assumption of like what you deserve in a customer service situation. And I kind of see like a generation change between that, but I do think
That's valid.
I do also think that we currently are in a leadership space that's much better than the world around us. And so when we think about like how people should be trained or is their management passive, like we are really good at that type of thing
yeah.
and nobody else is. And so I think that that's where the lack of like the problem solving clearly wasn't there.
Something triggered me to the point that I'm like, do I have to deal with something with the team right now with how angry I am at her lack of problem solving?
Right.
Am I deep down triggered by it?
Well, it's interesting because both of you shared situations because there are all kinds of levels to this. And I love that we're talking about it right now. This is actually National Customer Service Week. I don't know if you all knew that. That
Wow.
was my surprise for the pod.
Wow.
Nice.
We're recording this on October the 3rd. So you're probably hearing this shortly thereafter.
It was October 3rd.
This is
Sorry.
I have no idea what that
He
reference
has no,
is.
I was going to say,
I don't
he
know what
has
that
no
one is.
idea.
Sorry.
What's that reference?
On October 3rd, he asked me what day it was, and I said it was October 3rd.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sorry, it's a Mean Girls reference.
Mean Girls, thank you.
Anyway, continue.
Oh, the movie?
Just like
Mean Girls,
on-
the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie.
Well, not
That's
the comic book.
Today,
Thanks.
no,
Thank you. Well, I didn't know if there was a Mean Girls series or something that I don't know about, like the movie, because
No,
the
it was
movie's
the movie.
fairly old. That movie's like 15
Yeah.
years old. Lindsay
It's just-
Lohan?
yeah,
Yeah. Tim Meadows,
Like
hilarious.
on Wednesdays, you wear pink.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I got that
Same
reference.
one.
There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you. All right, great. Okay, anyway.
Continue.
Speaking of Mean Girls, we had Anj, who deliberately went out of her way because it's National Customer
To
Service
complain.
Week. Yes, there are like levels. You know, there's a certain level. I will say this: I think our expectation of customer service is drastically lower than in the past.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? So whether that's good or bad, I'm not going to say yet. But it's like
That's a.
if I go to Walmart, I actually expect bad customer service.
I actually did. And
I go in thinking this is going to be
Yes.
bad. So for it to be bad enough is my point. Bad enough that you
That
were
I
like,
was-
wait a minute. So there are these levels, right? It's like, well, that was fine. I'll deal with it. Doesn't really change my buying habit. Then there's this level, because this is the Good Leader podcast. So I want to frame this with leadership, not just a gripe fest.
Yeah.
But frame this.
I only have griping.
Which we can have a gripe fest later. I've got one. I had a bad customer service story I don't even have time to tell. But I want to frame it with leadership because I think there is a root here. There is a root cause that I want to get at. And one of you just said it. It's like, okay, well, these frontline customer service representatives in whatever form, whether it's a restaurant, Walmart, or anything in between, what kind of training are they receiving?
Yeah.
What kind of education are they receiving for this? Because the standards in our book, 8-Track to Emoji, we talk about common sense. But common sense isn't about sense, it's about common values. And our common values as a society have changed. 50 years ago, the common value in a restaurant was, so you're saying, Jess, your dad has these high demands. It's because, well, 50 years ago, the common value was you're here, you're going to serve the table, and you're really going to go above and beyond and all this basic stuff. Everybody knows that? That's common sense, right? No, it's not. That is not common sense anymore.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. Leadership gets in trouble if you want to blame time. Leadership will always get in trouble if you want to blame time. Like if you just say, well, times have changed and that's just, nope, leadership's now in trouble because you can't settle there. You have to say, times have changed. How are we changing with it?
Yeah.
How are we changing with it? Now, the opportunity, if you're out there, especially this is National Customer Service Week, if you're out there running a business in any level whatsoever, you have a greater opportunity to be exceptional than ever before.
Definitely.
And it's easy. Being exceptional is easier than ever before.
Yeah.
That's so true.
If all I got to do is say I'm sorry for spilling salsa, wow, am I going to knock it out of the park?
That's like the bar is on the floor.
The bar's on the floor.
Exactly.
Like, truly.
That sounds like a Taylor Swift song. All right, so
What if it was?
What if it was? Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. It will be. We're
But
calling it
seriously,
now.
so let's talk
That's a
about
great
what
point.
what I want to frame it now is as the Good Leader podcast, not to be grief-stricken by all this, but as leaders to be proactive and look at our organizations and whatever those organizations are and say, wow, how are we serving our customers, both internally and externally? We're actually going to take a couple episodes on this because customer service is not limited to your paying clients. It's about your internal customers who are your employees. It's about external customers who, yes, maybe are paying clients, but also shareholders.
Yeah.
Also your community around you. How are you serving these people that are in connection with or affected by your organization? Now, the truth is that the opportunity is so vast. And so let's break these down. You all experience something that to me is like DEFCON 5. Like, wow, this is so bad. This is so bad. Lemuel, who I think is one of the kindest, gentlest souls that God ever created, is really like, you had the same reaction Anj did. It just surfaces differently. Like he's just as livid. He's just as livid, just as outraged, just as
I don't think
disbelief.
Yeah,
and his response
disbelief is the
I cannot believe this is happening. He said, Are you thinking about taking something off of this?
He
check?"
whispered. He whispered and
He
said,
whispered
"Hey,
gently
could
to
you
the
please-"
hostess.
trying to practice meekness
Are
around
you
here.
thinking about it?
Yeah, me too.
Whereas I'm just like,
I was like, I'd
Can
like
you
you
put
to
up
put
a
up a
sign?
sign
I would like you to put
because you have 200 of these that you're not
on-
selling.
You saying put up a sign is like the snarkiest remark
I
in
know.
history. All I want is for you to put up a sign. What
Because
a-
apparently we can't buy
lady.
them.
Yes,
Apparently.
what a passive aggressive smart
It
like
was.
thing to say.
It was. I was that mad.
Well, I can't buy it, so put up a sign. Okay, here's the lesson for us today, though. How many people are affected by your organization and feel like that? How many people feel like that? Get to that point and you don't even know about it. So when it comes to this customer service, on the next episode, we're actually going to talk about what to do about this. But I want to give a quick recipe. If you're out there, because I actually just jotted down this recipe thinking of like, okay, I'm looking at these situations. I have a story. I have 2 stories directly from Paradigm Shift that I'll share in future episodes where we gave bad customer service. We were bad. So if you're a leader, it's going to happen. That's actually one truth. This is going to happen. You're going to have bad experiences. And that's really what I want to learn from today. We're going to talk about being more proactive later. But man, what if something bad happens? And here's my 3 steps. And you all tell me, do you agree? This is just a whole am I wrong segment. You can just be like, Jared, that's wrong. I don't like that. But in any of the situation, if you're out there, the number one thing you should do if you're looking for training like this is you should hire Paradigm Shift. Bring us in. We'll train your whole team.
Is that
If you're
part of
not
the
gonna do
recipe?
that, no. That's the best thing you can do.
Number
If
one.
you're not going to do that, I'm going to give you the quick cheat sheet
Okay.
for customer service. And this is frontline customer service specifically. We got a whole Venn diagram that we talk about customer service with. But this is the cheat sheet. This is the quick. And this is good. You could teach this to your kids. You could teach this to your employees. You could teach this to anyone to say, here's what happens. Here's step number 1. Something happens bad. We spilled the salsa. We messed up on tagging something. Number 1, apologize. Boom. Number 1, apologize. Clearly and adamantly, just apologize. I am so sorry.
It's heard.
Clearly, yes. Not even a whisper. Not a whisper. Oh, I'm sorry. Like just own it. Even if it's not your fault. Even if you're going like, I didn't even spill the salsa. Like even the manager came through. So we said it's frontline, but the manager came through. She should have been apologizing profusely.
She could have
The
done
first
a lot
words
better.
out of her mouth. Not, are you the ones who want to speak to me? That's not the first words. The first words would be, I am so sorry you've had a bad experience. And then if you weren't the people, you're like, oh, I haven't had a bad experience. Oh, because we spilled salsa on somebody. I'm trying to find that person. No, you could say, I am so sorry you've had a bad experience. I'd love to talk to you about it. Okay, great. Apologize quickly, profusely, abundantly, any adverb you want to put there. Apologize so much that they're going like, okay, that you don't even have to apologize. Thank you. Thank you for saying you're sorry. You can never apologize too much. That's number one. Number two, these sound so simple, but it's so simple. Try to solve the problem. Try to solve the problem.
Amen.
Amen, right? That's part of, like, she wasn't even trying to solve the problem.
What kills me about her is I didn't even ask her. No one was asking her. I was talking to this kind, nice gentleman, and she just walks by snarkily, you can't buy that. And then basically scares the guy off who was trying to help us. And he literally looked at me and was like, I'm so sorry. I don't even, no, she just took it because she did.
Well,
so that's another line.
if we really, so if we
Don't
wanna go-
meddle.
Don't meddle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mind your
Orange is
business.
really-
Number 3.
Mind
And
your
then don't
manners.
make me mad.
All right. But trying to solve the problem, I think this is one of those, like, isn't that common sense kind of things? That's like, no, actually, it's not.
not.
You need to train
Yeah.
on it.
But you know what?
What do we know?
Common sense isn't common
I've been
unless
wanting
it's
to say
communicated.
that the whole time.
I have that printed behind my desk.
Yes.
Common sense isn't common unless it's communicated. That's solid. That's good.
That's great.
Wow.
It's true.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But in truth, I think that all too often, if we're really talking about, let's take a frontline leader, of any ilk, teaching them to try to solve the problem is often, here's why this is so powerful. Often the problem is actually pretty easy to resolve. You know, often the actual problem, even if I'm dealing with an irate customer, they are over the top mad. We as humans often get in trouble, especially with the customer service, because we match that emotion.
Right.
It's like, well, this lady's ticked off. Well, who is she to be ticked off? I'm ticked off too.
Right.
You know, you can take your bucket and shove it, lady. Like, I don't care about you and your bucket. Instead, isolate the problem like this. Like, let's go to Lemuel's example. What was the actual problem? The problem was what, Lem?
Problem was that we wanted it resolved. We actually got the outcome that we wanted, but it was how
In
they,
a terrible way.
Yeah, how they went about it.
So if asking, so my problem is my inclination is if you ask like that, I am so sorry. Even just a quick like, hey, is there anything I can do for you now? Well, grab some napkins first. Get something, solve a problem, because actually the thing that you needed solved is you go, there's no way to solve this problem.
Yeah.
There's no way, the salsa is spilled. So there's no way to actually solve the problem for your case. Now that's why I like these two examples, and we didn't do this on purpose. But sometimes it's like the mistake was made. There's no way to solve this problem. You made a mistake. You messed up. You cannot unspill the salsa.
Yeah.
So you can't do that, which goes to my number 3, which is over deliver afterward. So you actually like, well, there's nothing really to solve, but like, you know what? We're definitely going to cut your check. This meal's on us.
Yeah.
Or now if they would have just said this meal's on us, that probably would have actually made you a fan. Like, wow, you're going to take the whole meal? What's going to cost them $50, maybe $60, maybe, I don't know, at Chili's, $75 if you really ate, a whole family's eating a lot of stuff. So it's like, wow, and then you would be on a podcast telling the millions of listeners out there what a great restaurant Chili's is, you know, instead.
Am I right?
Am I right? Now you're on this, and Chili's is awesome.
Now we're
Am
talking
I
if
right?
you're right.
Now we're talking.
It's almost as if the problem automatically makes the situation bigger than the transaction. Because
Totally.
now there's going to be other transactions that either aren't, we might not go to Chili's. I don't know. We haven't
Who
decided.
knows? Who
We
knows?
haven't decided.
Well, but then in isolating the problem, because on this, here's the thing. We all know Anj most certainly could buy the bucket. Like the problem is there's no tag.
And
That is the problem. There's no tag on this. What would you like me to do about that? Solve that problem. You know what? I'll find one with a tag, or I will figure this out. I will solve that problem for you. And then that's why the third piece, and we'll finish with this, is over deliver. Sometimes that comping a meal. Sometimes that's just saying, how can we make this better? Sometimes that's just saying, thank you for your patience. Thank you for that. I'm trying to be honest with the employees and their level of authority. So the Walmart employee might go, I can't comp you this bucket. I don't know what to do. But if they did solve the problem, that's probably 90% of your issue. Like, wow, well, thanks for trying. That's the thing. We're a very forgiving society. We're a very forgiving society if someone is willing to help. If they're, oh, I'm so sorry that this doesn't have a tag. Let me go back and look. Anj probably would have said like, you know what? I don't need it that badly. Thank you though. Thank you for trying. Thank you for going to look. I don't need it. I'll just go on about my day. Instead, you get the wrath of Andrea Heyer coming at you.
And it's not a.
It's very scary. I've been on the other end. I've been on the other side of that wrath.
I'm scared.
So have you, Jess. So,
I'm scared.
No, I don't want it. Okay. So,
I don't actually know if either of you have that.
not
this
that level.
kind of.
No way. Not that level.
I was going to
no way.
say.
No, I haven't experienced that.
John
fury.
literally said, I think the only person who's ever witnessed that before is me. And he was like, I'm really not normal like that in public. So he was like, are you okay? Like, is something wrong? I was like, no, I don't know why that person really got me.
Well, because it's the power of customer service.
It sure is.
Both
it's
good
powerful.
and bad. It's powerful. The power of customer service.
way?
Well, no matter what your position is, it comes down to training. It really does. It comes down to how are we leading people? How are we teaching people? How are we training them to respond in the right situations? We talked about extreme situations on this episode. In the next episode, we're going to talk about everyday customer service. What do you do when it's just run of the mill? It's not this crazy example of salsa falling on you like a Stephen King novel. It's just run of the mill everyday interactions. In every opportunity, you can be a good leader.